Hello, everybody, and welcome to What's the Story podcast. This is WTS 294, and my name is Danny Murray.
I'm Graham Merrigan.
Mero, have you melted yet? Are you all right?
I'm sweating.
It's absolutely, it's vile. It's vile. I can't deal with it. I don't
Late
like it
into the
anymore.
evening as we're recording here, and it's still 18 degrees.
I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it one bit, and but you can't get comfortable in the bed. You can't. There's just no need for a heat like this, and climate change is a lot to answer for.
The only thing I like about it is that it makes people happy, but I'm certainly
During the day when you're out and about, fine, grand, enjoy the sunshine. But at night time, it needs to get down to single digits so that we can get a good night's sleep. I haven't slept well in ages, man, and I get very grouchy.
And you go to bed early enough, so
I have a bedtime. I have a bed routine, man. So this is upsetting me terribly.
you go to bed about 11, do you?
I aim to be asleep by 11.
Right. And do you be asleep by 11?
More often than not. But in
Do
this
you use
heat,
one of those sleep apps to tell you how many hours sleep you got?
I don't intentionally. I've got a smartwatch thingy majiggy which does all that, and occasionally I look at it. It does, but I don't pay too much attention to that. I more so just judge it by how I feel, and if I feel tired, because I haven't slept well. So because I'd be very in the sound hippie about it, in the circadian rhythm, Graham. So I'm very temperamental to the amount of daylight. During the winter, I sleep like a fucking hog. But during the summer, the bright nights and the bright mornings, I'm awake. Once it's bright, I'm up.
Yeah, and sometimes in the summer you wake up, you think you've had a lovely sleep, and it's 5 a.m. and you're like, I don't have to get up for another 2 hours.
No, that's it. The birds are going mad, and I'm like, right, I can't turn them off. I'm up.
And you have to keep the window open because it's fucking roasting.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lose-lose situation, to be honest with you, and I'm not okay with it.
But I am okay with our guest this week.
Absolute great segue, Graham. Let's get straight into it. Delighted to say one of our favourite guests of all time is back with us. He's I don't think I've ever done the intro for this, so I'm going to try give him a proper intro.
Do it then.
Right, let's have a look. Hang on, let me think here, right? He's the Marauder of Mulhuddard. Yes. He's the D15 love machine. He is the Cabra Cabal. He's the Blanchardstown bollocks. He's the one and only Petesy Carroll.
The Blanchardstown bollocks.
That's the most accurate one he gave the whole time, I feel.
I was trying to just think of places in D15. I was like,
did great. I mean, you even referenced my dad's from Cabra, so I can take that as well. I can take that through lineage. I mean, it was perfect, Danny. I mean, what a time to be alive. Back on, lads. I mean, a long time. I'm listening and I'm going, one of these fucking days, these boys are going to pick up the phone and give old Petey a call. Give old Petey a call again.
We just figure you're so like Ric Flair now with your fucking jet
you're off with
lifestyle. You know, I mean,
Chuck and area, like, you know, we can't compete with these lads.
I'm basically their tell boy. Like, they just bring me away so I can get the waters and coffees.
I can't because the way the camera is, but I figure you're having a hard time keeping those alligators down, man. Those shoes are pure alligator skin, are they?
Which these things? These old things.
Like Ric Flair.
I wish, man.
This is it. Peter,
or was it Dusty Rhodes that said that, Danny?
Nah, that was Rick all day, man.
Oh, Rick
all day.
That's
Dusty,
before my time, boys. Yeah. I was an Ultimate Warrior guy, as you know. It's been a hard time. I tried to get into wrestling a couple of times this year. I watched the Sami Zayn.
You've tried loads of times over the years.
I get into it for like a weekend.
We know you 8 or 9 years now. This podcast is 8 years old this month.
Wow.
Twice a year probably since the inception. And you've watched wrestling, the big ones, for 8 years. So don't give me this, I tried to get in this year.
Well, I feel like
the last 8-year Royal Rumble, last 8 Manias. So let's just leave that there. Thank you.
But it changes so quickly when I come back. I'm like, this is a whole new fucking thing. Something's going on. Now, I thought the Bloodline thing was amazing.
Yeah.
With Sami Zayn. I was like...
It is.
Is that still going on?
Yeah.
See, I just watched the pay-per-view and I go, I'll see you in 6 months.
Some of that stuff is Emmy Award winning.
Eric Bischoff told Ariel that it was the greatest storyline in wrestling in 40 years, the Bloodline one with Sami Zayn.
Wow, did he?
Yeah. And then he said
when did Ariel interview Eric Bischoff?
Just during the week on our channel.
Is it out now?
Yeah, it's brilliant. He talks all about the contract situation, how he got Dennis Rodman to WCW while he was playing in the finals with the Chicago Bulls. So it's really, really good. You know, How does he know all these people? That's what I want to know. I want to get into his little black book. Helwani, he knows fucking everyone. It's mental.
It's the Ringer MMA exclusively on Spotify for those who are interested.
That's our podcast.
Also,
yeah, that's
the crack is on that as well.
On that as well, I had because I didn't know the Ringer was a thing. I thought it was just you lads doing it, but then I discovered the Ringer NBA show, and I fucking love it.
I love the NFL one. I love all their stuff. They're great, man. They've been absolutely great to us. We've been delivering the numbers, though. I mean, so why wouldn't you love us? You know what I mean?
Oh, Ric Flair talking there.
I'd love me too, Bill Simmons. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Sports guy, Bill. Petesy, we've loads we want to talk to you about because obviously the crack is doing deadly. We've had lots going on in the world of combat sports. Amanda Nunes, Bigfoot Silva, Shauna Bannon. But first and foremost, the most important item we have at the moment, lads, is watching Love Island.
No.
Can
I tell you the story? You'll love this story. This is one of my. I've watched Love Island.
Love Island.
One time.
Hey man, it's fucking class.
Get me mum on the pod.
Dude, get Jenser in. Love Island's deadly. Don't care what anyone says.
I've watched one episode of it in my life. But I'll tell you a funny story. Elaine's brother and his missus live in Navan, and they asked me and Elaine to go down and babysit them one night. And now the girls at the time, I think the eldest is 14 and the youngest is 11. And they say, here, look, just let them watch Love Island, will you? And I was like, I don't give a shit what they watch, whatever you want. And so we're in there and we're watching Love Island. I'd never seen an episode before in my life. And so I'm just slagging everyone that comes up on the screen because they're all like plastic surgery out of their fucking minds. And I'm like, look at the state of this fucker or whatever. And then the door knocks and it's like the takeaway or whatever. So Elaine goes to leave them there. Elaine goes to get the takeaway and leaves me in the room with the girls. And as soon as she went out, and I'm not one word of a lie, and I've been yapping the whole time slagging everyone, they start talking about fellatio. And I'm not talking I'm talking a deep conversation for 5 minutes about techniques, about the shapes of a man's phallus and all this stuff. And I'm sat there between a 14-year-old girl and an 11-year-old girl. And I wanted the world to swallow me up because I had been doing a running commentary on everything that had happened. You just stopped? Completely silent for 5 minutes, like just staring, going, please be over, please be over. And Elaine came in, she goes, you had this look on your face, like I'd done the worst thing to you in the world, but you couldn't tell me either. So I was just staring her over going, I can't believe this. But yeah, so that is my experience of Love Island, Danny. So after that, I'm too traumatized to ever turn it on again in case Elaine's nieces pop over again and I'm stuck in that room.
That is horrific. It's also a life lesson that you should always be the gentleman and get to take away from the door.
I didn't have €2 on me. You know what I mean? She had the coinage.
I can imagine you giving it a running commentary, and as soon as that topic came up, you're just like, where's that pizza line?
I just like, where is she gone? And how long?
Why did we have to order a large sausage? Why did we have to order?
I was like, all you have to do is get 4 plates and bring them in here. How are you gone for 5 minutes? How? That's what I was thinking. I was going, how the fuck could this possibly take 5 minutes? I mean, it's a pizza. Just bring it in and fuck it on the ground so I can leave. That's all I need. But yeah, so that's my Love Island experience, Danny. So I don't have any further comments.
Do you know what? Right? No,
but this
first
episode.
This season, I am watching it. But like, it's the end of the sports season, and I've controlled the telly for 10 months of the year watching sport. So 9 o'clock in the evening, Cubes is like, I'm watching something. And at first, I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna lie, lads. I'm fucking fully invested in it now.
Can you tell me? Is it a dating show?
Kinda. Like, I mean, they air quotes couple up, but at the moment,
fake though. Is it all fake though?
There's a lot of fakeness in it. There's a lot of people who are being strategic. See, the thing is, right,
including the faces of the contestants.
Just to say, I'm very attracted to the Irish girl in it.
I don't know anyone in it.
Yeah, Catherine.
Catherine, is it? Oh my god.
Yeah, she's a gorgeous girl.
But do you not think it's fucking, like, I was worried, like, for these young impressionable girls watching these women who spent, like, you know, 250.
Looks natural now.
250,000 to all look exactly the same with different color hair.
And I'm like, sorry for cutting across, man. I put that down to the Kardashians, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think the Kardashian dynasty has a lot to answer for, including Caitlyn Jenner. I just think there's a certain toxicity and poison that comes out of that family in terms of this way you need to look, but then trying to act like it doesn't matter. I fucking hate that shit. Just be honest about it and just, you know what I mean?
Like the 16 to kind of 28 girls now, I think, have huge self-esteem issues and insecurity issues because of that.
That's happening. That's happening everywhere as well because of just social media and the Instagram likes and fucking like kids they're only just getting on social media and they're then sweating it.
Yeah, you're pontificating this now.
Me?
Yeah, watching Love Island.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Graham, I can watch a show and still have negative thoughts towards it.
Explain to me this, right? How does somebody win?
The public votes, Graham.
Bang the rest.
Really?
It's who bangs the most people.
That would be a great way of doing it. That would be who's the fastest to get through all.
But all this coupling up stuff, like I'd be like in love with the first person they gave me, and then if she was going off with someone, I'm going to have to kill him. I'm going to have to kill him, and they're like, get him off the show.
It's amazing you say that because there is an exact situation like that involving a guy called Mitch this season.
I'm Mitch.
Man, Mitch, right, to give you an idea.
I'll be like, no, I love her. I love Catherine, and he's not fucking going near her.
You have security having you by the waist, and you were like, no.
They're like dragging me out to going, how did he get in? He has a hairy back. All of our men are waxed.
It's I'm enjoying it, lads. It's drama. It's chewing for the brain, and it's drama, and it's not to plug my extracurricular activities, but it's a great warm up for my professional career of shouting at the telly on Ireland's favourite TV show, Gogglebox Ireland.
Danny, I got asked about you 3 times at a wedding last week.
Fantastic, Pete.
Someone had told someone that I was your friend, and next of all, they're like, do you know him? Do you know him? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's either Ariel, Danny, or what used to be McGregor back in the day. I'm like, boy, when are they ever going to ask me about me?
I ask you about you all the time.
I am purely taking that, Petey, as I've leapfrogged Conor McGregor in popularity.
You're the new king of Ireland.
Which is amazing.
Back on it, Danny?
Graham, I can neither confirm nor deny when a new series may or may appear and whether I will be on screens or not. However, I do have
not as frequent as the UK ones, is it?
It's not, no. They don't film as often. They only film for a certain number of months in the year, whereas the UK seem to be on 24/7, 365. But fair play to them.
Love the UK one.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like that's a bit. I felt like that was a bit.
See, Pete, here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. That lad didn't even watch it. He didn't even watch me on. Oh, when he was on Fair City, I was recording it. I was watching the repeat.
All of Ireland. Ireland was tuned in for Rocco, mate. Don't make this a you and him thing.
Hang on,
right?
I will make this a
Rocco Mania ran wild, baby.
I was watching it on the RTE player. My wife is Russian. I was using my connections in Russia to get Russian bots to tune in so the ratings would go up. I mean,
Danny, I series linked your episodes on Gogglebox and have watched them all.
And when did you watch them? About a week ago, was it? Because you weren't watching them when they were on.
Before, Chris. I didn't watch them when they were on.
Yeah, thanks for the support, Graham.
Do you remember the struggle I had to go through, Danny, trying to download apps and everything to get it? It was a fucking nightmare. I was like, how the fuck do I watch this?
Petey put himself through, pun intended, the ringer in order to be able to view. Whereas Melo was just,
Petey, we were at Danny's wedding.
Oh, yes.
The groom and his groomsmen, me, and the best man, we were all at the entrance. We were actually getting a bit of air before the actual, I was going to say the procedure started.
The procedure? Fucking hell, Graham.
Before the ceremony started, we were just getting a bit of air, right? And locals got off. It was like it was a Sunday. So it was like they were going into the hotel for afternoon tea. And there were just about 10, 12 women. And they all noticed Stanley. And they were all like, is that your man from Gogglebox? Is that your man? I was like, yeah, it is. He's getting married today, and they all gave him a hug and all wished him luck.
You were not like, and yes, it is Rocco from Fair City before you fucking get going.
I was actually hoping Danny would have said that, but no, he never says.
No, because
he was loving the admiration and.
What's the demographic, Danny? What is the most people that you get approached by? Would you say?
It's you know what? It's unusual because a lot of, I would say, middle-aged. Not that I'd ever presume a woman's age, but they just appear middle-aged. Whatever's going on in their life.
Right.
I'd say
fucking hell.
But yeah, definitely. But there's a fair number of lads who watch it as well. But I have been asked for a selfie in the veg section of Super Value by a woman in her 20s. Yeah.
Class.
So, look, I'm out there doing birthdays, bar mitzvahs, whatever you want, lads.
You know what's next, though, don't you? Lambo yachts. That's
Lambo
what
yachts.
Lambo
yachts, man.
Speaking of yachts, Tony McGregor asked me onto his yacht about 3 weeks ago.
Class. Go.
Yeah, I met him down in Dunleary. I was getting out of my car and he's like, G-man. And I was like, how are you, Tony? And he comes over and starts, geez, you look great and all. What are you up to?
He was lying to you there, Graham. But anyway.
He says, can you believe it's 10 years since we did the podcast? I said, oh no, it's 8. I said, we're 8 years old next week. And he goes, unbelievable. Great times, what? And then he took a phone call and then he had a guy with him.
Yeah, he is a social media guy, yeah.
The guy told me he was his private security guard. And I was like, and I went, yeah, right. What, really? And he goes, yeah, Tony's very popular. And I was like, oh, yeah. So
don't have to tell me that.
Then Tony comes back to me and says, come here, I have to get a piece for the yacht, but do you want to come on the yacht this afternoon? And I was like, oh, I'm busy, Tony, but maybe next time. He says, yeah, I'd love to bring you out for a spin. I was like, yeah, next time.
Yeah, he's a legend. Tony, was he wearing his 188 jacket?
With the Ireland flag and a big captain on the back.
Fucking legend.
Yeah,
that's what I'd be doing. If I had a fucking yacht, I'd be doing exactly the same thing.
Look,
have you seen much of Tony?
No, we were texting there around the third Poirier fight. We were kind of texting. He was over, and I was just saying, best of luck. Hope we have a great time, And he seemed to have a great time. Yeah, just like before the result, of course. But I was texting away to him there. Yeah,
nice chap.
Huh?
He's a very nice chap.
He is, and he was always very good to us as well. Even when we bumped into him in places and all that kind of stuff. If I can hijack this for a second though, because just on the McGregor thing, obviously the Ultimate Fighter is on at the moment.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of it, Dan?
I watched the first episode, and I do have the other episodes there to like. I've linked it so I can.
Oh
yeah, I didn't watch it
like Mero did with Gogglebox.
Yeah, only I actually will watch it.
I watched Gogglebox. I watched
it. Graham, I won't ask you to stick out your tongue because I won't embarrass you by seeing the big black line. That's look at the big black line in your tongue now.
He has a lovely tongue, doesn't he?
This conversation's gone weird. Yeah. PT, have you seen? I don't know how old or new or breaking or non-breaking the news is as we record this of a Wednesday evening. But allegedly, McGregor won't be fighting Chandler, and the UFC are throwing different opponent ideas at him. He
never was going to fight him, and it's not going to happen this year because he's not on the fucking USADA testing. Sorry, go ahead, PT.
I listen to the MMA journalist, Graham, if you don't mind.
I said this in January of this year when they started talking about this fight, and Ariel Hawani, my good friend, the man I love, told me that I was wearing the tinfoil hat he told me I had on. You need to stop. I was like, when have I ever been wrong about this guy? Like I knew that man.
Did you say in January that he's not going to fight this year?
That will not happen. Yeah, that is not going to happen.
Specifically the Chandler fight.
Specifically the Chandler fight. But specifically him fighting. I said is not going to happen this year. And now, of course, they're all singing from the Petesy Carroll hymn sheet and said, sure, we all knew this was going to happen. No, you didn't, because I was vilified and I was ostracized at the time for saying these things, like I was every fucking time since 2017, Graham. And guess who is having the last laugh now? It's me. It's fucking me. But, I mean, yeah, like, look, I don't know.
But sorry, Petesy, why back in January, and you made this bold prediction, and it wasn't really a bold prediction. No. It was based on experience. What made you? What led you to believe that?
I knew. I was seeing what was going on in that camp when he was the best fighter in the world, and he was the best fighter in the world. There was 18 months there where he was untouchable, and he was amazing.
What was his peak Alvarez fight?
Just that 18 months. So I'd say from Poirier to. So that Poirier was September 2014. So I'd say up until, whatever that is, that's probably a bit more. But yeah, Alvarez, of course, it was the Diaz fight in the middle. It was a broken up over the 18 months, right? There's a couple of months break and then we go back in. But anyway, but what he was doing in training and the way he was mentally, like when you used to have a conversation with Connor, it was like talking to some kind of fucking newborn monk. The way he used to talk about fighting was so interesting. Like he was stoic and everything he said he thought about. Like there was everything he was saying to you, he had thought about 1,000 times himself. And he's almost like every time he said something, you felt like he was saying it to someone for the first time. He was a magical guy to be around. And I just don't see that guy anymore. Like I haven't seen that guy in years, to be honest. And when he was like getting back in shape, and look, he's in great shape. There's no doubt about it. He's in unbelievable shape. But it was all like strength and conditioning training. Like I was seeing the guys he used to spar with around Dublin, and he was away. And you can't prepare for a fight unless you're fighting people. That is the hardest thing about fighting. You have to fight people for 8 weeks to prepare for a fight. And all of the people that would usually be in that camp were not there. And there was the USADA thing, of course, as well. And then I hear that he's going to, launch this stout he has, the Forged Irish Stout. And I'm going, that is not that the last time they did this, guys, this did not work out well. It's very hard to go on a promotional tour for an alcoholic beverage while simultaneously preparing to fight one of the best fighters in the world. And I don't see this as a knock on Conor that he isn't going to fight. Like, the guy has earned more money and is more successful than any fighter that promotion. They will never let another fighter get as successful as he is. That's how big he got.
And they probably underpaid him as well.
Yeah, absolutely underpaid him. He made them. He allowed them to sell that company for 4 billion, 4 point whatever billion. So it's like, I think he's in such rarefied air in terms of success. Like, in terms of, right, first of all, fight success, then the Mayweather fight, that's hundreds, like 150 million or 120 million, whatever that was. Then he sells a whiskey company for 400 million. I mean, why would you? Like, if I was his mate, I'd be like, don't ever fight again. But what I think the problem is,
is there an appetite for fighting with all that money, though?
Well, I think that the issue here is that him fighting is a catalyst for everything else in that world. So he needs to fight for a proper 12. He needs to fight for Forged Irish Stout. He needs to fight for the Netflix documentary. He needs to fight for the Black Forge Inn. All of this stuff gets absolutely massive publicity when this guy fights. And even if you said you watched the first episode of The Ultimate Fighter, as soon as they open the doors of the gaff, here is a cave of Forged Irish Stout for you guys. Just what you need preparing for the biggest fight of your life. Get 4 cans into you. Like, it's just, what he did was so unbelievable. I think he nearly shot himself in the foot, because when you start doing things that defy all logic, I'm sure you start to believe, like, I play a different game than these guys. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, what we found out in the last couple of fights is it doesn't work. Like, it can't. Like, I think Poirier is an amazing fighter. I'm not trying to take away from it all, but Conor was literally leaps and bounds better than him at one stage. Leaps and bounds.
45 though, PT.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, he was brilliant at 55 as well. Ivan Butchinger, Eddie Alvarez. I think McGregor, if he hadn't have got so rich, would have done some even more amazing things in that octagon, I think.
This is, and you made the point there recently, PC, about McGregor, and you basically said this guy's a tycoon now. That's what he's like, so it's, look, I think, Mero, you and I went the journey, a lot of other people went the journey where we were part of that kind of wave that, like, we're basically all in terms of the fandom. You know what I mean? Like, it was described as like an Italian 90 moment for combat sports for Irish fans and whatever. But then there was the come down, and the come down with McGregor has been far worse than that riding the wave. I think the opinion the public has and the perception that the public has now of McGregor it's a massive U-turn now. So there's a,
and I think you're right, Dan. And I think that's probably going to affect the next generation of would-be UFC Irish fighters.
Yeah,
I do too.
It absolutely does. And I think as well, though, it also plays into that whole thing of when we see this guy fight again, if we see this guy fight again, it doesn't have the spectacle and the occasion that it did previously, because people aren't going to fly halfway across the world to what some people will, don't get me wrong, but not in the numbers.
Not in their thousands.
And there's, I'm speculating, I can't say for certain, obviously, but it feels now like there are as many Irish people tuning in to watch him lose as there are to watch him win.
Yeah.
And that's a weird place to be in.
Yeah. And
I don't even think people care anymore, like, whether he loses or not.
once again, one of the issues I fell out with the camp was in 2020 when I just walked around the streets asking people what they thought of Conor McGregor. And he accused me of asking leading questions. Well, unfortunately, every question I ask usually leads to an answer. That's how good I am at my job. I always want the answers. But
so what's your relationship like now, PT, with the camp?
No, non-existent. Non-existent. And that's shit.
Is that because you were being a journalist and they thought they wanted you to be a PR man?
Yeah. Conor and me, I think the things that happened during the course of me covering his career was weird because it was all new and I was the first guy there and I don't think he knew how to react to the situations he was in and I didn't know, you know what I mean? It was all new. So I think the book was a big problem. I was signed to write his book in 2014. He asked me personally. I said, yeah, no problem. And then what happened then is he's probably signed to get paid 50 grand from this book. In the space of 6 months, his net worth has quadrupled or whatever, tenfold, whatever it was. And he's kind of going, I'm not really wanting to do this sitting down for, 3 months to write a book. So I was always chasing him for that. I think that annoyed him. Then they'd fly me over to see him. He had no interest in doing the book. So that was that. And then then obviously the downfall happens and I'm in the courtrooms where he's, answering charges and stuff like that. And that really pissed him off too. And, there was a while there where the camp wouldn't speak to me at all. So in fact, it was actually one of the best things that ever happened to me because at the time, you're very worried. I think around the time of it must have been around the time of Mayweather, say like they were on the outs with me and I wasn't speaking to anyone. And they all trying. Yeah. People were in dialogue with me. Like Roddy always talked to me. I fell out with Artem for a bit around the Habib fight, but I was trying, and then I was being told they're only giving interviews to Mac Life, and that, annoyed me having been there from the start. I was very annoyed about that. But I had just signed for MMA fighting at the time. And I can remember thinking like they signed me because they wanted the Irish guy, right, to give him this view that nobody else has on the staff. But I was like, if I can do that in Ireland, I'm going to do it in Europe. I'm going to go and attack the whole scene in Europe now. And I'm not going to ever have to rely on one camp for anything ever again. And that's why we made the Eurobash podcast. And that was one of the best things I did with Niall, of course. And I think to do that, to change focus instead of sitting in this misery of chasing tails and coming up with nothing all the time, I think that actually gave me a new lease on life. I felt like I'm buzzing. I'm talking to Ioane and Jacek. I'm talking to Darren Till, who are really coming up at the time. So it was probably very hurtful for me at the time, but it actually led to a massive breakthrough. And I don't think if I hadn't, because that was the first, I did Talk and Brawls with Niall, and then Niall came and did Eurobash with me. But if I hadn't have done that, I don't think I'd be in the situation I am with Ariel now, with the ringer and stuff like that. And in a way, as soon as they closed the door on me, I'm like, well, I'm not like, I genuinely, and people don't believe that, like when I used to be full of positivity about Conor and going on the radio and saying, I believe in this guy. He is the force to be a really great thing for Ireland. I really believed that at the time. And I think he did at the time have a massive, and he did have good impacts in Ireland at that time. But the reason why I was saying was that because I was around all these people and I could pick up the phone and speak to these people and they'd tell me all these things and the wonderful things that are happening in training and the buzz, and you could feel the buzz even talking to these guys on the phone. And it was this magical thing that was happening. And so as soon as that line gets cut, you're kind of left picking up, like, what am I seeing when I see the camp now? What you're trying to read between the lines. And it just so happened to correspond with a downfall in his career. So I was seeing and saying what I was seeing, and they hated that I was saying it because I used to be among them in that camp. But everything I said was true. There was never a point where I was like, I'm saying this because you don't talk to me anymore. Not at all. Not at all. I was always saying what I saw, and it just so happened to turn out that was what was happening at the time because I knew them so well. I know how they act around each other. I know if certain guys aren't there, what does that mean? Who does he have training with him? Why isn't that guy there? What's going on here? Why aren't they at training at this hour? I've only seen, I just knew how it worked. So
But you're a journalist as well, though. That's their journalistic probing questions. I mean, a lot of the stuff coincided with some defeats as well. So you're obviously going to report on the defeat and why there was a defeat and give your opinion on why you thought he lost certain fights. And maybe sometimes they didn't like reading that. But I remember when we were first pals around 7-8 years ago. And I specifically remember a night we were sending audio notes and you were saying, I'm just after being off the phone to Connor. He was playing Call of Duty and all. We were playing, he was up in his attic or something, still living with his mom.
Was this Gunnar Nelson? Was Gunnar Nelson in the gaff or something playing Call of Duty?
So, yeah.
That was years ago. Yeah, I think it was either him or Queely, was it? I don't remember if that was Connor.
Oh, it was definitely Gunnar. It was definitely Gunnar and Connor because
he used to ring me at like 4:00 in the morning to do interviews. So this is when I was doing the Gazette, and God bless Tony, he'd make him ring me. And then Connor would like say, all right, I'll ring him. But then when Connor like thought it was a convenient time, it would be like 4:00 in the morning. He'd just jump up and do a 5-minute interview. And it was great. Look, like.
So did you bump into him during the Katie Taylor fight?
No. I was offered to go to the Black Forge, but I was like, Ariel's having this great moment. I don't want to have anything negative pop. Like, no, I don't think anything would, but I didn't want to have any part in, you know, any kind of bad memory you could have in that situation. So I stayed away. And I thought, look, I'm not saying I thought anything would happen. Most of the time, if we're in the same room, we just don't, you know, we just stay away from each other and go on with our business. And that probably suits best, like both of us as well, to be honest. Like, I don't feel any need to have a conversation when I see him or anything, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're doing your thing, he's doing his thing, you know. As Mero said, like, you're a journalist. It's your job to do these things and report on things accurately and how you see them. And I think McGregor is one of those cults of personality where people ride that wave, and anybody in that situation, and I'm not just speaking about McGregor, I think anybody that's in that situation where you amass such a following so quickly, you are going to worry about certain things, about what's being said, what's being said by who, and how it's being perceived. So, like, a fallout somewhere along the lines is inevitable with anybody, I think, in that situation, particularly when that person is a journalist and they're trying to report on things as objectively as they can. Like,
yeah, like it's sorry
to interrupt you, Petey, but as well as that, Danny, it's the same. It's, you were being pushed aside in certain respects for content for the Mac Life. He owns the Mac Life. But
they asked me to work for them as well, like, and I said no.
Yeah, he asked you to set it up, didn't he?
I wasn't asked directly to set up. I was contacted to be the main guy, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's PR. That's not journalism, like.
Yeah, and I was just like, "What's it going to be called?" They're like, the Mac Life, and I was like, "No, no, what are you talking about?"
Is that going? Is it?
Yeah, it's actually doing great. Oscar Willis is the main man there, and to be fair, he's fucking killing it. Like, he's basically cornered the whole video market in UFC. Like, I mean, whereas MMA fighting, say you guys, when you were watching the sport, you'd probably log on to MMA fighting to get your press conferences and stuff like that. Yeah. He's the go-to guy. Like, he gets everything up quickest. The numbers are mental. I mean, he's done a brilliant job, to be honest. Like, he is.
Sorry, answered Lenny's question there. Apologies.
What was the question again? Oh yeah, sorry, the cult of personality thing. Like, could you imagine how weird it is being him now, though?
Oh man, like
I wouldn't like to be.
No, but like everybody like is fawning over you all day. Like, everyone is worshiping you, and if anything less than
everyone
worship
in America.
Yeah, no, but I mean everyone around him. Like, every room he walks into, someone's going, "Oh Jesus," and imagine then, like, you're just having a normal interaction with someone. It's probably weird. It's probably weird when someone's like, "Oh, what's the crack, man?"
Oh, yeah, absolutely unsettling for him. But I mean, look, as a celebrity myself, and as somebody who can't go into Super Value without getting a selfie request, when you're walking anywhere in life and the public's reaction is to take out their phone from across the street, from, you know, the shop that you're in, you know, when the public's reaction is to put a phone in your face just so that they have a photo or a video of you, and all you're trying to do is get an iced coffee and a fucking cinnamon bun or whatever. Don't know if he eats cinnamon buns, man. He probably hasn't had a carb in about 15 years, God bless him. But you know what I mean? Like, that can't be easy. You feel like you're always
understand how he's feeling, so Dan.
The persona, Graham, you have to live the gimmick, you know? So
it feels like he's a brand now, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the that's like the epitome of success in America, right? When a person becomes like a brand. But it's just, I don't know, dude. It's kind of tragic in a way too. Like, I know that sounds mental. Like he's so loaded and he has everything he possibly wants. But I think somewhere inside of me just wishes he was that lad getting the bus home from Crumlin to Laracon, after spending the night out with the lads. Like, I don't think he'll ever be able to get that back.
To shift gear and go with something a little bit more hopeful, possibly a little bit more positivity as well. Not that being a multi fucking millionaire tycoon isn't positive. Fair play to anybody who can do it. You spoke to newest Irish recruit of the UFC on the Crack recently. Your podcast, the Crack, Shauna Bannon. This is a great moment particularly for we've only had Ash Daly in the UFC previously, so it's a good moment for Irish MMA.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I don't like about some of the things that have happened in Irish MMA is like, I can remember when Ash won that world title before anyone else, and John Kavanagh was on the phone to me. I was ringing every paper, and we getting her in papers. We thought this was going to be a breakthrough moment. It was a hugely significant moment. And, even though the talent pools in women's MMA weren't as deep at that time, I can remember everyone in the Irish scene being like, if Ash can do this, we can do this. Like, this is a massive moment. Like, we're proving that we can fight the best people in the world. And look, she beat Jessica Oi, who went on to fight for UFC titles. This is not a bullshit fight by any stretch. I had Sinead Kavanagh recently tell me that it was online on Twitter.
Online in front of everybody.
Yeah. But like, I think that's what.
Where's the bitterness there? Like, I mean, there should be support there, and it's just like you're still thinking Ash is the top.
And I do absolutely. By the way, just to clarify, as I told Sinead. But look, maybe it's something personal, like between them, that happened on the mats. Like, I don't know, right? So
yeah.
But I do feel like there is an effort to write her out of MMA history in a way, and I think that's an absolute disgrace.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just I see people talk like that Sinead situation where I'm like, this is. Could you imagine that in any other sport? Like, like someone going like whoever the Irish, John Egan now going like fucking Paul McGrath, bit of a prick though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like what? Like it's crazy. But not that Sinead said that either. But I like that Shauna has trained with Ash, bigs up Ash everywhere she goes. She's obviously in there with Paddy too. Like, there's connections to this previous generation when we were all young and full of wonder about this crazy sport. And she gives her respect. And I think it's good to have a different kind of fighter out there as well. Shauna's a single mother. She she's had to overcome a lot to get to this moment. And I think I'm hoping that she'll, show MMA in a different light, the same way as I hoped Ian Gary would. But I think, unfortunately for Ian, Irish people, they want you to be in Ireland. They want to see you there. They want to, and obviously with Chris and Cathal, he had this amazing entry into the world. Like Chris kicked him out of that gym the week of that title fight in Cage Warriors, and after that fight, he was off living in Florida. I think it's hard. Like, I've been pitching Ian Gary content all the time since he got in, obviously, because I know people get interested, and they just aren't, they aren't bowled over by the guy. So every time I see someone come in, I'm hoping that they'll have a bigger impact on the general public. Like, will come into this broader consciousness. That said, Ian Gary is an unbelievable fighter. I think he's the best fighter by a long shot that we've seen since Conor. He's the first person to put 5 wins together. I broke the news today. Sorry, first person to win 5 consecutive fights in the UFC since Conor. And he's fighting Jeff Neal now in Boston in August. And, the kid's talent is just absolutely unbelievable. Like, I have people, every time he fights, I have people getting on to me, oh, what is the story of this lad? I just don't get this lad. And I was like, but just look at him fighting, though. Like, just look at what he's doing in there. This is crazy. This is not just this guy's a good Irish fighter. This guy is an elite prospect, blue chip prospect from Malahide, fighting in all of the biggest fucking venues around the world. And just because we're like, oh, he doesn't eat spice bags like I do, we're like, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Well, myself and Danny worked with Shauna, and like we had Shauna on the podcast years ago as well, and she was trying to get down to take the go down the taekwondo route in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what happened there. Do we know what happened there?
I think she decided I prefer the MMA route now.
Okay.
She started transitioning more to MMA.
There was lots of guys kickboxing trying to get into taekwondo because they wouldn't make kickboxing an Olympic sport.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think there was lots of red tape there. Like, I think as they were trying to get in, we're like, well, we have Jimmy here who's been doing taekwondo for 15 years. And even if he couldn't kick snow on the rope, they were never going to admit that these kickboxers could probably do it better, you know?
Yeah. There's one thing I learned with working with Shauna and knowing her is that I was not surprised to see her getting a UFC contract. I mean,
everybody says that. Everybody that knows her said, because we have a mutual friend, me and Shauna, my friend Bo Mangan. And when she made her amateur debut, Bo texted me and she said, she's going to go the whole way. And you know me, big fucking jaded head me. I'm like, she's having a fucking first amateur fight, Bo. Will you fucking relax? So then, like, I'm interviewing Sean. I'm like, well, fair play to you. You fucking did it.
I think the reason, people say it is because of her commitment. I mean, being honest, I think Shauna would probably admit this. I didn't think it was going to happen this soon, but I mean, her commitment, even when we were working with her to go to all these tournaments, now, as you said, she's a single mother. You know, the interview that you did with her recently was very good about kind of the story and how she got there, how she was training through COVID, 2 hours sleep, being a mother, going to training. You know, she had to give up work just because if she wanted to achieve this goal. So I hope it, of course, I know Shauna, so I hope it 100% works out for her, and I hope she is rewarded financially properly for the hours that she puts in, because we all know the UFC aren't great at paying. So I hope she gets good money that she can enjoy and enjoy it with little Jace.
I think she's one of those people that will make money even outside of the general UFC. I think she's that approachable and she has that charisma to her where, you know, she'll have one of those fan bases where they'll be ravenous. Like if she releases a T-shirt or something, they'll go after that. I don't know. I was struck by how charismatic she was when I was speaking to her, and
there's no cockiness though. She's
just very confident. direct and confident, and I think she's proven herself right many times in her life. So she is confident enough to be like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I think the most impressive thing about her is, like, she is in here. Like, I've been interviewing people for years and it's all about getting to the UFC. I went to her second pro fight and it was never about getting to the UFC. It was about being the champion in the UFC. Even back then, you're fighting in the Pillow Hotel in Ashbourne and you're telling me you're going to be the champion of the UFC. I think that's pretty special. Like,
you're going to go to UFC London on our fight card?
I don't think so. I haven't been to London now. I used to go every year, but I haven't been now. I haven't been since last year. It's just with all this kind of working via satellite, there's no need anymore, lads. You know what I mean? You can just fucking plug in me microphone and go asleep in my own bed. I had Donna Corby from the Mirror get onto me there yesterday, who's another who is absolutely killing it. Donna Corby is now with the Mirror, who I kind of started off with National Tab. He's going all over the world covering Jake Paul fights, all this stuff. The man's a legend.
Man, I saw that recently, actually, when Jake Paul was fighting. Nothing wrong with that. When he was fighting, what you call him in Saudi Arabia there,
Tommy Fury. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I saw Donna Corby's coverage of it was everywhere, and fair play to him.
It's unbelievable. It really is. And he texted me yesterday saying we can get the flight over and back 29 quid in the day. And I was like, you know what, Donna? You smooth talking bastard. I might just do that.
It's look,
he does WWE coverage as well, Donna.
He does everything, man. I think he's brilliant. You know, like, and they're all so good and they're all so dynamic compared to what I was when I was their age. You know, like, I literally just knew how to foil a fucking article. That's all I knew how to.
You come from the school of Janice Gaffey, Petesy. Don't ever.
Can I tell? Oh my God, mate! Can I tell you a funny story?
Absolutely. Right.
This is so embarrassing.
That'd be funny.
So fucking embarrassing, mate. Do you know who Janice Gaffey is?
No, I assume she's one of your old lecturers.
This is going to be inside baseball for you and I.
So she was our lecturer from our master's degree course in journalism, and I'm sitting there one day and I'd just done all the Katie Taylor interview and all this stuff, and it was the Monday after that, and I looked down at my phone, and who's ringing me, Danny? Only Janice Gaffney, and I was like, Jesus Christ, here we go. I'm finally gonna get the old pat in the back here. This is fucking amazing. And I was thinking this. I'm not bullshitting. I was going, this is fucking incredible. Answer the phone. Janice, how's it going? And she goes, hello? I was like, yeah. it's Peter Carroll. Go ahead, hit me with the good stuff. And she was like, which Peter Carroll is this? And I was like, it's you know who it is. It's Peter Carroll from the Masters of Journalism. That's who it is. And she was like, oh, so there must be two Peter Carrolls. And I was like, oh my
no,
he's working in the Department of Education now or something, and there's a guy that works there called Peter Carroll. And I had to back up the truck so quickly. I was sweating, like, do you know what I mean? I was like, I finally thought I was getting. She didn't know who the fuck I was at all. Like, she was just like, all right, good stuff. What are you the one that's? She said this. She fucking said, are you the one that's on Gogglebox? She said that to me.
Fuck off.
She said that to me.
What?
And she did that now. You're winding me up now.
Mate, I fucking swear on me.
But she meant Danny, did she?
She rang Peter Carroll from the Department of Education, apparently, because she works with her, but she just had my number in her phone and assumed that was his, because she had all of her numbers back in the Masters days. Then, like, as she's scrambling, like, asking me how getting on, I'm like, oh, doing pretty good. And
doing all right.
She was like, are you the one that's on Gogglebox? And I was like, fuck, Jesus, no, I'm not. I'm not even that one.
Oh my God.
That's you, Danny.
I don't know. I wouldn't have thought Janice would remember me from fucking Adam.
Well, she thinks your name is Peter Carroll.
Listen, if somebody out there thinks I'm Petesy Carroll, I will fucking take it to the bank. I'll be like, yes, thank you.
What about that for fucking Scarlett, though? Like,
I
don't even think I've told Elaine that. I just remember that as you said her name. I was like, oh, bollocks. And I'll prove this happened. I'll go into my calls so you can see this actually did happen.
You poor Petey, waiting for the compliment after his lecture, and then gets absolutely...
That's what it was. A missed call, and then I ring her back and just get the treatment.
That is...
sick.
Something's gone terribly wrong.
Yeah. My God.
What's happening?
What's wrong?
Hang on, it's Petey froze.
Petey's froze, but I can hear him.
Something's gone terribly wrong.
Something's gone terribly wrong.
There.
He's back.
Oh, wait, hello?
You're
He's
back.
We're back.
I can't believe that. Mortifying.
That's pretty embarrassing, isn't it? That was fucking...
See, because I'm a corporate shill now. I escaped the world of journalism because I wasn't cut out for it, and I just used the skills that she developed within me to be a corporate shill, and she'd be embarrassed by me now. So there's no way she'd ever be ringing me for a pat on the back. Whereas you, Pete, you're the shining light of that course.
I thought it was my moment, man. I thought this was it. I thought finally they're gonna give me what I've wanted. Just a bit of fucking well done, mate.
How many years apart were you?
One.
I think you were the year before me, were you?
Yeah, and then my mate was the year before, so
yeah. Because I remember your thesis being there, and me very much enjoying the fact that somebody, because at that time MMA was not the, you know what I mean, it wasn't in the toy department of sports journalism properly. So I was like, oh, and I got very excited about it. But anyway, that's Jesus. Well, look.
Mortifying, one of the most mortifying moments of my life, I have to say.
It's very funny. How did you find covering the great Katie Taylor?
It's like, I told her this after I interviewed her. I said, I feel like I'm after interviewing St. Patrick. And she was pissing herself laughing, like, and I was like, thank God that could have went either way. You know what I mean? That could have went either way, that joke. And no, she has this aura to her, man. When she walks into her room.
What is it? What's it like?
I don't know. It's very hard to describe. Like, I was just very nervous. And I remember I didn't sleep the night before or anything. And I was so worried that I was going to drop a big, horrible F-bomb as soon as I met her. You know what I mean? Or say something. And then when she was there, it was such a calming effect she had on me. And she chilled me right out. And then I just felt like we're kind of bantering, like we're talking about the Irish women's football team beforehand. And she was kind of getting into that. And she was telling me about her mates are trying to go and they can't get tickets. It's going to be so big. And I was like, it's going to be like you all over again. Like, this is going to be a massive moment for sport in Ireland. And she was like, I believe that. I think Katie McCabe's going to be the biggest star in this country for years to come.
Yeah, she
is. And she definitely is. But honestly, I was so nervous, and I was just like working with Joe. That was the first time I'd ever worked with them. And they were fucking brilliant. They were so good.
Sorry to cut across here. Fucking brilliant coverage, by the way. Every bit of it, from the fucking legit proper coverage to the fluff that you were doing with Ariel, getting them to try Irish food and everything, man. I fucking thoroughly enjoyed your content over that week.
Yeah, no, it was great. But like being around Ariel over here is fucking bizarre. Like it's and it's so embarrassing to me because he loves fucking throwing me under the bus. So I'll be like taking pictures of him and all these lads and be like, do you not know who he is? He's from Ireland. He literally lives 5 minutes away from you. How do you not know who he is? He is a podcast. He literally does the show with me. How do you not know him? It's like, oh my God, mate. Oh my God. He was doing that.
He didn't know he was coming over till the week of it, did he?
No. So like he's so funny. Like he'd be planning, like, can we do this? Can we do this? And I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then like 2 days before he comes, he's like, I can't do anything. So just I was like, nice one, mate.
You brought him to the gym.
I brought him to the gym. He made Steve's gym there in Fitzwilliam Square. Yeah. He burst. He's actually a machine. Like, I don't know where the fuck he gets his energy from. Like, so I went in.
Lots of ball soup, I'd say.
Of course. But like he did a 40-minute workout and I'm like, I'm going to get a shower here and I'll drop you back to your hotel so you can have a shower because he's a germaphobe. He won't go near anything public like that. Fine. I go in and have the shower. My mate stays like outside the door when I walked out with a little shower room or whatever. He's like, hey, he just finished an arm workout and he's done 25 minutes of boxing with one of the coaches in there. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's just...
You're in the shower.
I'm in the shower. Like, he's coming out and he's just battering some pads with some lad. He's a machine. And he has 3 kids. I don't know. He has 85 fucking shows. Like, I think he has like he has 40 hours of content a week or something. Like, it's fucking bizarre. Like, it's absolutely bizarre.
You know what content of Ariel's I love the best?
No.
And Danny will know. Love the most when he absolutely hangs Dana White out to dry. I cannot get enough of that. I love when he's saying to the producer, can you play that clip there? Okay, no, he's lying. He's bullshitting here. I just love it. It's absolutely unbelievable television.
It's not just when he does it with Dana, though. It's when he does it in It's
remember Paddy Pimblett? Sensational.
Like there was that brief moment where it was kind of like the heel Wani. Do you know what I mean? Like where it was like Ariel had turned heel or whatever, and then it was like that moment all those years ago where The Rock turned heel, but he was so good as a heel that he was a baby face all over again. That's what's happened with Ariel. He went heel and people are like, oh, I like this side of him. And within a week or two of him fucking, it was like, this is it. This guy is fucking, he is absolutely rocket strapped with this shit. Call him out more often, please.
I've had a few arguments with myself. It's just, you can't win. You can't win an argument with that man. You can't. You're just better off just going, fuck it, right? You're right. I'm a prick. Like, whatever. Just take the win.
That's what I do with Danny.
Yeah, I mean, he's a machine, dude. I've never met anyone like him. He's a very special guy. I love him. He's one of my best mates. But he is relentless. Like, relentless. I don't know how he fits so many things in is every day. And he does everything really well. Like, he's a great dad. He's him and his wife are very happy. Like, he seems to make time for everyone and real time, like he wants people to know that he cares, and he does care a lot about everyone he meets, and he somehow manages to give everyone enough time so they're all chuffed with their moment with Ariel. It's very impressive.
But you know what I love about his whole, well, it's not his, but Dana's feud with Ariel is that Dana is like, he almost tries to put people against Ariel, and it's had the opposite effect. It's like what Danny says when The Rock tried to go heel, and he was just too far gone that everyone just loved him. And that's what happens in a professional wrestler's life, is that it's happened with Randy Orton the last 3 or 4 years. He's been around for so long that they try and change him heel. No, it's not working. That fans love him. And that's what happens with Ariel when Dana White, when someone like, I think MMA fans, particularly in Ireland, in the infancy of, say, the Brock Lesnar years, everyone loved Dana. Everyone wanted a selfie with Dana. And then they start finding out the personality of Dana and realising the chap's an absolute fucking bellend.
Hey, man, I used to enjoy, I thought Dana was gas. When they were over here for UFC in 2000, when was Henderson Franklin over here?
2009, yeah. February 2009.
Yeah, I was one of the people that was getting selfies with Dana White, and I was, loving him, and I was thanking him for finally bringing the UFC, blah, blah, blah. And, but that's what happens when you're 20 odd in college and brain dead. Do you know what I mean? But you can't see the wood from the trees, like.
Yeah. But everything is not black and white either. Like, it's grey because True. It's the same with Conor. It's the same with everyone. Like, Dana has done amazing things for the sport. Like, I would not have this livelihood if it wasn't for him doing that stuff. But that doesn't mean he's a perfect person, you know. And obviously he's not. He's definitely not. Like,
No, he was caught slapping his wife in video.
Yeah, I mean, he's exactly. And look,
and then creates a company called Slap Face.
I mean, unbelievable. And but like,
that sport, by the way, is a fucking
like, are we living in a simulation here or what? Like,
it's
president
crazy.
of the UFC caught slapping his wife, and then his new show was the premiere 2 weeks later. Like, where would you get it?
All right, lads. Like, in fairness to Slap, right, the finale was exclusively streamed on Rumble or whatever the hell it's called. So I mean,
never even heard of it.
Huge deal. It's actually a free speech site, okay, Graham? There's none of these woke brigade of people.
Oh, yeah.
You're able to slap your wife. You're able to watch the slap fights. It's fucking amazing over there.
You can slap your wife in peace on that channel, can you?
Yeah, I mean, piece her up. She can piece you up. Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of how you pronounce it, I need to call you though, actually, Petesy, because you're a fucking sellout.
All right,
and I get it, man.
What did I do?
There's paychecks involved, so I don't. But I want it noted. I keep receipts.
What did I say?
You went back on call. It's fucking DAZN, and you know it's DAZN, right?
Oh my god! No, I've a partnership with DAZN now. So
it's fucking DAZN, Petesy. Don't you dare.
DAZN.
And you can watch all of the fights on DAZN. I had to do you know how long it took me to fucking say that after that KE interview? You can ask the lads who work for Joe. That interview was one take. Sat down, did the whole thing. I was there for 2 hours doing watch Katie shit. Watch bollocks. Like it was a fucking disaster. And I told him it was gonna be beforehand. I was like, I'm the opposite of Ron Burgundy. I can't read anything. I can't. If you tell me to say something, I can't say it. So to be just like, so just say it naturally then, and I'll be like, you just couldn't do it. So like it's literally just me sitting in that same room that I was with Katie with, and you'll see it. It's like a 2-second clip at the start where I'm like, the fight is on DAZN or whatever. It took me fucking 2 hours to do it.
It is DAZN though.
It is DAZN. Of course, it's DAZN.
Yeah.
And it's never been DAZN.
It's DAZN.
I didn't stay up all night saying DAZN into a mirror the night before that interview.
Doing this.
Yeah, DAZN. Bollocks. Man, it looks like DAZN. Like, it's very confusing.
Elaine, how do I sound?
Yeah, she was just like, but she'll tell you, most nervous. I was like a, dog trying to shake a shite out the night before I had that interview. It was absolutely.
Was there like her father was on the same card coaching your man?
Gary Cully, yeah.
Gary Cully. Was there anything like? Did that have anything to do with anything? Would you say?
No, like I think. Like, listen, lads, I don't know a fucking thing about boxing. I heard about Cully for the first time that day. Pretty much, no. He did a Q&A.
Ariel's been pontificating him for about 2 weeks.
I mean, he learned who he was like 2 weeks ago when they told him, and he was coming over. You don't know who he is, bro. He's gonna be the biggest thing. And then the chap gets KO'd. I'm like, what'd you say?
Yeah.
What fights of his did you watch?
And what did Ariel say after his defeat?
He was just like, he's gonna bounce back. He's always positive. Like, you never get a bad word out of him. But he was selling this whole thing, and it's amazing that he can do that. Like, he came over and he planted this seed to Eddie Hearn that this is the rebirth of Irish boxing. I saw him say it to him. I was in the fucking room when he said it to him, and he hadn't said that once. Eddie Hearn hadn't said that fucking all week. And then in every interview afterwards, that's what it was. That was what it was. And I was asking like Gavin Casey and all, is this really the fucking it's just, and he's like, I suppose it could be. And I was like, how did he do that? How the fuck did he do that? But then Cully lost and Dennis Hogan lost and Katie obviously lost, so fucking rebirth is fucking in desperate need of resuscitation.
How good is Gavin Casey?
He's fucking class, man. Joe, he's so much fucking cooler than I am. Joe, I just kind of stand there trying to act like him when I'm around him. He's like, stop being weird. And I'm like, I can't. Just want to drink it in. And they're just, even the boxing reporters are so much fucking cooler than MMA reporters. They just are. I drove them back, a few of them, because I was driving. And they're just so fucking rock and roll compared to us. Like, yeah, just drop us off at the workman's there, mate. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm going home for 8 hours sleep. What is wrong with you? How is this happening? Oh, fuck, my last article at Last Orders. Who gives a fuck? No, I'm only messing. He's very professional.
Who was there? Bob Geldof?
That's yeah, he's very like Bob. I would say he is the Bob Geldof of Irish media, Gavin Casey.
Gavin Casey?
Yeah, he doesn't like Mondays.
He doesn't hate them. No, but he's brilliant. I think he's so fucking good. I think he's like, and he doesn't like me saying I'm nice to him, especially to his face. That's all I do when I see him, tell him how great he is. But I think he's like one of the best sports journalists this country's ever seen, And I just think it's unfortunate that it's not unfortunate. It's the way media is going. when he writes those long form features now that are behind that paywall in the 42, and some of them are just so all encompassing or like of Ireland, and he can really put a bow on things in such a perfect way a lot of the time. And I just think that's a shame that I just can't get the article and be like, send it to Ariel and go, look at that. Or I can send it to people like, oh, it's a fucking paywall or whatever. But I think he's brilliant.
Didn't he do one on Heather Hardy there a few years ago? It was absolutely brilliant.
He's done brilliant stuff. He always finds a completely unique angle on these things. Like, we're all doing the same thing, and then he does 42 something else.
Have a good collection of journalists there. David Schneid as well.
Yeah.
Football.
He's great. He's on second captains all the time, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then Gavin Cooney, is it?
Gavin Cooney is very good.
He's fucking brilliant.
Aisling O'Reilly is brilliant. I don't think, is she with the 42? Yeah, she is, isn't she?
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's excellent as well.
Come here, Pete, because we've already been keeping you for a long time. So
I don't mind. I'm fucking talking to you boys all day.
We do need to because we want people to listen to your content as well. So they oversaturate here. They won't head over to things like the Crack podcast or the Ringer MMA show. But a couple of developments in the last week. Two legends of MMA left their gloves in the octagon, as they do. Who do you want to start with, Bigfoot or Amanda Nunes?
I think Amanda Nunes, I'd like to start there because, let's be honest, she's been a bigger deal in the sport.
Yeah, fair point well made.
I don't know how Amanda Nunes is not like a gay icon. I don't know how she's not like fucking put on a pedestal. Like, I have friends who are like, members of the community, and I'd say to them, do you know this person exists? Like, this is, and I'd tell them just a few short facts about it, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this person exists and is fighting at the weekend. And they're going like, what the fuck? Like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, yes, I know. I don't know how she's not like fucking.
Would it be because of the UFC? Would it be because of Dana White's?
A lot of people argue that, but I will say that Amanda isn't interested in it either. Like, she's not interested in coveting media. Like, she doesn't like to do a lot of media. She barely does the press conferences. So I think there's a bit of that to it as well. But I just feel like actions are what someone should be judged on, and what she's done and how she's been very publicly herself, and she has her and her wife have children, all this stuff. I just think she's such a fucking positive story. She's an amazing fighter. I don't think there's ever going to be anyone that will have the impact. Like, if you look at her record, she's beaten every other person that could possibly be considered the greatest female fighter ever. She battered them. Like, not like it was like, oh, close decision. I know she had one with Valentina, but mostly has battered everyone. Like Chris Cyborg, Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm. She's battered them all. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So,
do you think she's definitely retired?
Yes, I think it's like Habib. Like, it's one of them rare ones where you're like, she was out. Do you know that was my bold prediction for 2023 in January? Yes. And once again, they were giving it to, oh, will you stop, Petesy? And now they're like, oh, come on, that was hardly a big pick. Fuck all of them.
Two of your predictions were Nunes to retire and Conor not to fight.
Yes. And last year was Leon Edwards to beat Usman in the rematch. And of course, at the time, everyone was saying, no way, Petesy, you're a fucking dickhead, Petesy. But now I'm just enjoying the fruits, boys. The fruits of my stargazing ways. But Bigfoot Silva is a different one. Funny enough, Bigfoot Silva, I first became aware of Bigfoot Silva when he's fighting in Cage Warriors. Like, there was a time there when Bigfoot Silva was the super heavyweight champion of Cage Warriors. It was bizarre.
He made his debut in England, didn't he?
So I think he only fought for them once, but then he went from
Nottingham, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know off the top of my head, but unfortunately for Bigfoot, his career has gone very badly. Like, he is not getting the shining moment of glory, walking away with two belts over your shoulders like Amanda Nunes, and it's unfortunate, but this actually happens an awful lot in this sport, where you're kind of watching the last 10 or so fights of their career through your fingers. And so
sorry to cut across, man, I was going to say, if I'm being honest, the most shocking thing about his retirement was that it's in 2023, and it wasn't. And I don't mean that to be disparaging or disrespectful, but like, I put him in the same time frame that I put Big Nog and that I put those guys. That, like, in my head, he's filed away somewhere like 8-9 years ago. And so when I saw he retired, I was like, I didn't even know he was still fighting, man. Now, granted, I've gone very casual in my MMA fandom, but like, Yeah.
Well, his last win did happen 8 years ago.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean,
he's fought a lot of times since then. Unfortunately,
it was Coventry in Cage Warriors where he made his debut in 2005.
are you fact checking on the Hoof, Graham?
Yeah, I just thought it was Nottingham.
He didn't fucking believe me. He's like, he did in his bollocks.
I didn't believe myself.
I would take that as a compliment, Pete. You're a true journalist on the show, so Graham are going to actually fact check something. That is,
he did fight twice, though, right? I'm seeing now he actually did fight twice. I checked myself.
Yeah, Strike Force.
No, on Cage Warriors. Oh, wait, way more on Cage Warriors. Oh, I got it wrong. All right, win or learn, boys. That's a great John Campbell says.
Win or learn.
Yeah, I mean, but I'll tell you what, that is the biggest thing I hate about this sport. Even look at the guys who retired here, right? So Ash was forced to retire, Paddy was forced to retire, Carl retired, Siri retired. How many of them were able to sit back on their career earnings?
None. Yeah.
Absolutely none. Not one of them. Colin Pendred had to reinvent himself. He's got a sustainability degree now. He's doing great work. Oh, yeah. Did you see him in fucking Kin?
Yeah,
he was unreal. My ma was fucking plugged into Kin. And
that second series of Kin was just sensational.
It was way better than the first one.
Yeah, it was
sensational. And Rory, of course, Cole's character, my favorite guy in it. My ma got a voice message off Cole there the other day. Just ahead of the season finale of Kin, he sent her an old voice message, and it was absolutely beautiful moment. Because let's be honest, he is one of the most handsome fucking Irishmen that the world has ever seen.
A handsome devil.
I think Zac Efron got plastic surgery to look like Carl Pendred. All right, that's what I think.
Does Carl Pendred sing well? Because I would love to see a battle between the two of them.
And you want to see the flute in them as well.
Is Colin an official? Is he official coach with Team KF?
Oh yeah. He's that. I love that gym for that reason. It's like a little collective of all those guys, like Tom Kings, John Kavanagh's first black belt, Chris Fields obviously a legend, Colin's obviously a legend, Aisling Daly's obviously a legend. They're all in that gym, so I think that's really fucking special what's happening there. Yeah. But I think that's what hurts me the most. All of these people, and fair play to them, every one of them reinvented themselves. Aisling's now a school teacher. Paddy has done many different things, as we know. He's doing a politician. He's now Sean O'Bannon's coach. He's doing writing books. He's doing everything. And they had to. But that's the thing that pisses me off. Series, he was a warehouse manager throughout his career, and he remains that now. He's also doing cross-country run. He's coaching a GAA team. These people are fucking unbelievable. They're still as impressive to me now as they were back then. And I just think it's an awful shame that they give up their lives to this sport and you kind of come away with fucking nothing, Yeah. And I don't think Siri wouldn't have changed it. And I'm sure Paddy and all of them wouldn't have. If I told them when they were 2-0, I'm like, listen, lads, you're going to walk away from this with no fucking money. I think they still would have done it. That's the type of people they were. But that depresses me because I think anything, when you really reach an elite level in anything, you should be compensated for it, especially when someone at the end of the day is making fucking literal billions off it.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember when Ash was fighting, probably our last fight, I remember she told me her earnings and I nearly got sick.
Yeah. The women are treated very badly with you.
She literally put 6 months into this and I'm kind of like, are you actually for real? I genuinely couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's I can remember we did it.
But that's why I was saying I hope Shauna is handsomely compensated from her UFC contract.
I think
I think you're right. I think she'll earn most of her earnings from commercial stuff outside the octagon.
And I think she'll also she seems like she will learn from their mistakes. She will now know going in I need to be building a plan here for when I leave because I'm not going to walk away with life-changing money. I'd say 0.5% of UFC fighters, not just MMA fighters, walk away from the sport with money they can kind of sit back on and say, I don't need to work again.
Yeah.
Literal 0.5% of them. It's
and they're probably all Conor and Brock Lesnar's opponents.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There is horrific stories in the MMA world about guys who walked away and brain injury starts popping up. You should look up. I don't know if you read Steve Morocco's piece with Spencer Fisher, who you might remember from back in the day, a brawler. This guy goes out in his shield. He's having serious trouble with brain injury now, and it's just horrific. There's this class action lawsuit. you hope something will change. And when, you're seeing a 20 billion valuation on the company Endeavor that owns now WWE and UFC, you're just like, how can there not be something there for them? How can there not be something for the people who helped us get here? The people who are literally putting their brains on the line for these companies.
Yeah.
It's very sad. It's really sad.
It's American capitalism, though.
Fucking America. That's it's freedom. That's what
they took their jobs.
It's freedom. Pete, one last thing before we let you go. Your other dance partner on the ringer, Chuck, must be on fucking cloud 9 following the NBA finals.
Chuck is fucking class. He's just, everything about the man is class. He is a class act. If he wasn't on that show, it would just be me and Ariel screaming at each other, literally, like just fucking screaming at each other for an hour every week. He's a touch of class in everything he does. I think he's one of the best writers in all sport ever. And to see him, like to learn about this team through him, first of all, and then to watch him as each game goes by and getting a little bit more excited, and then to see him go on Ariel's basketball show. Why does he have a basketball show? I mean, anyway, but he going on the show. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Goes on this basketball show, and I'm like walking around listening to him talking about being a kid and going to watch the Nuggets and stuff, and then I'm like, I cannot miss a minute of this. Suddenly, like, I'm full in. I'm like, I need to win. Chuck and me need this. I need it just as much as he needs it. But it's been absolutely brilliant. I love the man. I love both of the boys. They really are two of my best friends. So every time,
Chuck and me need this. I love it.
Yeah, I mean he's fucking class, Chuck. Like I do think he is the best person on that podcast. Like if you listen to that podcast, me and Ariel are jumping around and fucking juggling and fucking bashing cymbals together, and he'll just fucking throw in a line every now and again. And it's fucking kill us. Like, it's just gone. And then it's just like fucking 15 seconds of laughter. His timing is brilliant. I think he's a genuine genius with words and how he speaks, like our good friend Phil O'Connor, of course. And oh man, again, I was saying before we got on, that thing he did with Christy Dignan was sitting in my sitting room, didn't even like Aslan, and I'm crying like a fucking baby. I think I've admitted to crying like 7 different instances here today.
You got very emotional as you got older.
Very emotional. It's these grey hairs, lads. I see them and it just fucking breaks my heart.
Embrace it, Petey. You'll be a silver fox, and
I can't wait.
The lovely Elaine will have a job baiting the women away from you.
That's it. You know what she did recently? This is a bit of a what's the story thing, so I think it's all right to bring it up. One time I was listening to the show, I wasn't on the show, and Graham Merrigan was discussing the trials he has with his nostril hair.
Yes.
Elaine has recently started waxing my nose.
Yes.
And boys, it is...
Oh yeah, I do it.
Fuck me. I mean, what a life. Like that, this changed my life.
I haven't graduated to the wax. I can't bring myself to do it. I'm still using a nasal hair trimmer that I got as part of a previous sponsorship that won't be named on this podcast any longer.
That doesn't work properly, Danny.
Scamscaped.
Yeah, I mean, listen, does it work properly? Do you know what? I'm not going to give them any sort of plug, Grant, to confirm or deny. Let's just say I use it more frequently than I would like to.
I actually like the feeling of just pulling it out of your nose.
I do too.
Sick animal. Sick animal.
Like, Elaine does it all for me. I just sit there going, "Come on, fucking do me nose and all."
The moustache stickers, Petey.
Yes. And she didn't put them on last time and I had a little hissy fit. But last time I was like, you need to grab me head and push me head and pull this fucking thing at the same time. And I was standing up at the kitchen counter and she had one in my ear at the time. And she didn't do the like...
In your ear?
Yeah, doing your ears as well.
Mate, I am fucking... You ever seen my back? I'm not messing, man. I'm like a
Chewbacca,
I'm like a
Wax her back as well.
No, she doesn't wax the back. This is just, I'm just saying up a hairy back. But that's a V job. That's twice a year kind of me standing in a nip in the bathroom. I'll stand in the shower. It's going to get fucking everywhere.
Have you ever read the reviews of V on Amazon?
Sensational.
No. Oh, PT.
Have you never read it, PT?
No.
It is.
I could do a 10-year testimonial like at this stage.
You will lose at least 2 hours and about 4 stone of sweat and laughing at each reviews. It is fucking glorious, man.
It must be years old, is it, Dan?
Oh, geez, yeah. It's at least 10 years old, but people keep adding to them. So every so often I go back in and just some of the stuff is fucking gold.
It works a charm. I'd be like an eel. Every time I go on holiday, I'm fucking
like an eel.
crashing through the fucking waves. People are looking at me, getting blinded by me pastiness. The ocean and sun banging together to make this fucking white illusion in the background. Like, what the fuck is that? Don't look directly at that cunt.
I had me Christmas Veet session there, and I went swimming in the local pool, and people were like, "Fucking Ian Thorpe." No, it's not. Sorry, no,
it's not Ian Thorpe.
I mean, you feel like an athlete when you wax yourself for some reason. When I get the backs waxed, I'm like, holy shit, am I fucking ripped?
The waxing out near the town halls.
I mean, no, I still have a full hairy arse, like, and me back, it'll just be a cut-off line from the t-shirt up, you know what I mean? Like, mine's so bad, like, it'll pop up over the back of my t-shirt, do you know what I mean? Like, it would be...
yeah, you have to put manners on that now.
I didn't realise you were that hairy, Petesy.
I'm not at the moment because I've been veted, man. Do you know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. I mean,
summer season, you couldn't be going around with that level of hair on your Petesy. You'd be fucking sweating.
I just stand there and I'm in the nip, obviously, and then I just get this singeing smell. I'm like, right, it's coming off, it's ready to go, and I will just burst in the night.
I have never once timed it to I don't think I've ever read the instructions. Does
the line do your back?
Yeah, how the fuck could I do it? I'd be like that.
And what's it like when she's ripping?
That's sore, and I think she puts a little bit of fucking vinegar on it as well, just to fucking let me know this is disgusting.
And when you put when you put a t-shirt or something back on, what's the feeling like on your skin?
Just feel like a newborn child, basically. Do you know what I mean? You're like, fucking hell.
This mad. I've never heard this. No.
Well, I mean, you don't have a hairy back like mine. Mine is fucking like a bear. It's like a fucking bear. And it's like pubic hair on me back. Like, it's fucking thick. And it's got same style as this, me actual hair. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like this Celtic afro I've got going on, yeah.
You brush it?
I could. I mean, if my arms bent that far back, I could fucking properly, like, ponytail it.
How often does this maintenance take place?
The back only gets waxed twice a year, I'd say. But I was thinking about this thing once. Elaine wasn't having a bar of it. I was like, I could go to Halloween like a stegosaurus if you just let me grow it out. Like, and then we could mohawk me arse hair into me back hair and all the way up to this hair. And then I could just go around on all fours. And then I could just go around on all fours and be like, is that a stegosaurus? Is that the right one I'm thinking of? Yeah.
Fucking God.
I think it is. Yeah, I don't know. She wasn't having a bar.
It's like your back's an afro.
Yeah, like we used to like a massive mohawk going from here all the way down me back and into my arse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be an interesting Halloween. Peter.
I'd have to be in the nip. I might just have a little ball bag, like for me balls and me penis.
I wonder why she rejected it.
I don't know. I'm still wondering.
Yeah, when you have to wear an old discretion sock, that's when you know things need a second thought. Like, you know, a nude colored discretion sock. You're like, am I making the right choice today?
Imagine showing up to that like at the first time I'm meeting our mates or something. I just have a full fucking body afro, and I'm like, "What's the crack?" I'm Petesy. I'm Elaine's new bloke.
Literally,
like,
what's the crack?
And they're just like, "Is that Brill cream or how did you?"
Is that what you called your podcast, the crack, because of your hairy crack?
Yeah, but it's because I keep on saying, like, I was trying to explain to Ariel what the crack is. I was like, it means what's going on. Like, you know, what's the crack with that? Tell me what that means. And he's like, well, it was actually my friend Abby from MMA Junkie who taught that. He's like, that's what it should be called. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I had so many stupid ideas. I was procrastinating for years about all these different things I was going to do. And then Helwani just puts a gun to me head, like, you're starting this week. And I was like, I suppose I'm starting this week. I mean, that's it.
And what were the other names, possible names?
I can't remember. I had a whole fucking list of them. Like, I mean, this is like going to the notes on my phone. I was gonna do all this shit, this wild shit on the podcast, and I was like, "Who's gonna do all this? Like, you don't know how to record a podcast." And I was like, "Oh, yes, good point." I nearly was trying to turn it into a game show at some point, and I was like, "They were like, who's gonna produce this? So this is gonna take a fucking day to put together." And I was like, "Ah, yeah."
Yeah,
won't do that then. Won't do that.
Yeah. This is half the reason that we end up with podcasts that are over 2 hours long because I can't.
Because of me coming on talking shite.
Yeah, because of pizza. Yeah,
I just don't have the want or need to edit. Do you know? I'm just like, it's raw. It'll do.
Okay. You shouldn't put this up the way it is, Danny. It's magical.
This is it, Petesy. This is it. If people want to check out episodes of The Crack and they want to hear your adventures with your two dance partners, Chuck and Ariel, how can they do so? Peter Carroll.
You can check us out exclusively on Spotify for the Ringer MMA show. And I actually have to check the name of, right, I didn't know if they changed it yet. It's still, The Crack is under the Ariel Helwani show network, which should be called the Ariel Helwani network now, but we still haven't changed that, Ariel. But anyway, if you go onto the Ariel Helwani show on all of your lovely apps like whatever pod, whatever the fuck it's called. It's on there. It's in there twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have a lovely time. It's 30 minutes. Won't take up much of your day. Please help me.
It's a nice, easy listen.
It's grand. It is grand.
It's great.
I mean, I hope to someday be award winning. Like, what's the story? I mean, I want the awards.
I'm milking the book out of that now.
I want to be like Jackson at the Grammys.
Well, I mean, it's 6 years since one of those awards, but sure, people don't need to know that. An
awards. You can call it award-winning podcast. That's all I want to say.
For life,
multi award winning.
I mean, no one's like last year's. It's award-winning podcast, lads.
Exactly, and it forever will be. So there you go. Petesy Carroll, as always, it has been a fucking joy and a pleasure, and I enjoy these catch-ups with you, and I enjoyed when I got to see you there not so long ago at a Ballybrack Bulls encounter as well.
When is the next one, by the way? We were told we'd get invites to fucking Abbottstown or something, and no such invites, Merrill.
Yeah, when was that actually? That was...
Well, you said it was in fucking May, so I mean, I'm guessing it just didn't make the guest list on this one.
No.
Did Christy Moore want to bring his mate? Is that what happened?
Yeah. Where the fixtures won't be out for a while. The season is September to May, so yeah, I'll let you know.
Did we win? Did we win?
No, we lost.
All right. Well, then I'm glad I wasn't there because
I don't think I invited anyone because I knew we'd lose.
You just hammered that team today. I was there.
That was a great game. It was a great game.
But you hammered them by 2.
It was a great match.
It was a good hammering.
Yeah.
Sure.
That young fella off the bench, class.
Oh my God. Fucking making it rain trees like Steph Curry.
That was fucking wild. It really was.
Actually fucking wild, man.
And that was against the old club and we had it on video.
Listen, I had no idea of the fucking... There is lots of infighting there, man. Like, I mean, this was basically like being at an Old Firm derby, and I only found out afterwards when everyone started talking. I was like, hang on, he used to be... Whoa, what? And he used to be on that team? I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. They're like, it's all Merrow. He fucking dragged them over there with him. That's the way he is. They call him the Pied Piper.
Right, now, lads, I'm genuinely, we're wrapping up because I want to go. I've missed half of Love Island already. You're fucking ruining me night now. Fucking period. Anyway,
sorry, boys.
Thanks for everything.
Right, Petesy, thank you very kindly. You're a gent.
Love yous, boys. Have a lovely day.
Always a pleasure and a joy speaking to Petesy Carroll. One of the nicest blokes out there.
One of the best journalists out there.
Unbelievable.
And every time we talk to him, the time pisses by and you don't realise how long you're talking.
Exactly, yeah. I'm after sacrificing most of Love Island there, as I said, but I'm all right with that because it's Petesy, and I wouldn't do it for anybody else except
maybe on +1.
I might do.
So you wouldn't do it for Paul and Gary?
We'll be talking to the lads another day, and I'll make my feelings clear with them if that's okay with you.
I love it. Where can anyone listen to our podcast?
They can listen to it anywhere that you can get a podcast by searching WTS Pod, and that includes Spotify, it includes Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Podcast is Public, anywhere, everywhere there is a podcast, just search for us and we're there. You can get Merrow at Merrigamania, you can get me at Dan Joe Murray, pretty much all the social medias. Thanks very much for listening. Check out The Crack. Check out the Ringer MMA show. R.I.P. Christy Dignam, a legend. And that's it for this week, lads. Until next time.
There was
full heart.
Can't lose. Shine on, Christy.